Hi, my name is Chris Sang, and I'm in Hour 7, Pod 1 in the C Assignment, Section 2, Winter Biology Book Club, BBC, and the date is February 15th, 2018. There are 46 pages in these sections from Chapter 5 and 6 combined. There is a picture at the end of Chapter 5 and 6, the first one depicting three men each aiming a pistol to the stomach or heart of another man who appears to be defenseless. The second one showed a human arm with the fingers and hand shriveled up in an uncomfortable sort of position. The title for Chapter 5 was Beyond the Black Box, and the title for Chapter 6 was The Cadaver Who Joined the Army. Chapter 5 focused on mainly material aspects of someone's life, and, for instance, focused on even a plane crash and how many people died in this explosion of very flammable fuel. The chapter there ends with the cadaver getting on a plane seemingly unfazed. I guess this would mean that the Chapter 5 poses a question of how people live and looks very statistically at their deaths, posing a very real existential question. Does it even matter if we're here or not? Chapter 6 just follows the story of a man who joins the army, however wants to experiment with other parts of the body for humans. The mentioned man takes a look at how animals have very similar joints and organs to ourselves, such as the knee of a brown bear, which is stated as the most similar to humans. He thinks of humans as parts of a machine and believes that he could build a non-human from the parts of other organisms. Section 2 relates to my life, the experiences, as my family was very deeply affected by the events on September 11th, 2001, where they lived and functioned daily. And thinking of something as smaller parts to break down the problem is an ingenious way to solve a puzzle, which I sometimes do, break the Rubik's Cube. The passage that stood out for me was on page 132 at the bottom of the page, where Lagarde said that their ballistic works with cadavers would lead to a more humanitarian form of gun battle, which raises a lot of interesting questions. A quote that resonated with me was page 146 in the middle, where he said, "Part of respecting persons is telling them the information that they might have an emotional response to." Which is true, you must use ethos, pathos, and logos in your argument to successfully win the argument. Section 2 is where the book really picked up. Before it was bland, dry, boring facts grinded over for 100 pages. Now there seems to be dynamic to the characters as they explain their motives really well. Two specific things that I learned was that ballistic studies are extremely hard to conduct due to the moral issues that arise from it. I also learned that people in World War II raised cadavers to figure out how bullets impacted the human body. This connects to the domain energy, which shows the human body is really just one big machine made of smaller, less important parts. Domains 5 and 6 have yet to be discussed, and I believe that 3 and 4 will be discussed in the remaining 3 sections, as it has been catering to them and has really been leading to it. I want to learn more about wars and how possibly cadaver experiments may have created more humane warfare, and I want to know how about the brain of a Jersey cow at 6 months, which is said to be the most relatable to humans.